Namaste to all listeners. Kushro Bhatia, myself, JV and Dr. Khushbu Verma from Faculty of Agriculture and Veterinary Science. Today we are going to discuss about cDNA Library Part 1. This session is related to Recombinant DNA Technology course of program BTech FBT 4th Sem. So first of all, you have to know about that what is cDNA and what is the cDNA library. First of all, cDNA is a product of reverse transcription. It can be synthesized by RNA with the help of reverse transcriptase enzyme and other machinery enzymes which are required for this process. And what is the cDNA library? So the collection of cDNAs is known as cDNA library. In the other way, you can say that cDNA library is a collection of clones containing cDNA and represents the genes that are expressed within a given cell or tissue type at a particular period. cDNA libraries represent sequences after any post transcription modification, for example, splicing of the introns. The advantages of cDNA library is that it contains only the coding region of a genome. So this is the basic difference in between genome library and cDNA library, because in the genome library it's a collection of clones of DNA molecules, but and they are having uh, codon region and non-coding region. On the other hand, cDNA library is having collection of clones of cDNA and they are having only coding regions, because cDNA don't have any kind of introns regions, because they are like represent the sequences after any post transcription modifications. So this is the advantage of the cDNA library, because they are not having any kind of intron or non-coding regions. How we can construct the cDNA library. So first step is synthesis of first and second cDNA strand. Second step is methylation of cDNA at internal sites. Third one is attachment of linkers and adapter and restriction digestion. Fourth step is ligation of double-stranded DNA to the vectors, and last step is introduction into host system for amplification of cDNA clones. Um, for more understanding, we can clarify it by diagrammatically representation. Here you can simply see the structure, which is basically of the cDNA library. These are the messenger RNA. We go for the reverse transcription process. By the reverse transcription process, cDNA will be synthesized, and the process of the making double-stranded cDNA will be occur, and then this cDNA will be cleaved by the restriction enzyme, and this restriction enzyme will be same, because this same restriction enzyme will be used for the digestion of the vector on the parallel side. After the cleaving with the same restriction enzymes, we will get the sticky ends of cDNA. On the other hand, we will get the sticky ends of cleaved vector. Further, we will go for the ligation process with the help of DNA ligase enzyme. Both will recombine with each other and they will create the recombinant vector, cDNA vector, and then we go for the transformation process of this recombinant vector into the E. coli cell, which should be competent cell, and DH5 alpha we can use as a competent cell strain. And this recombinant vector further will insert into the E. coli cells, and these E. coli cell will self-replicate and will create the more number of the recombinant vectors. Further, we can grow these cells in a large number. Then we can isolate the DNA from these cells by the extraction methods. Now we can get the collection of the cDNA and we can create the cDNA library of active transcribed gene. Means we will have only coding regions or exon regions. We will not have any kind of intron regions. So that's how cDNA library can be synthesized. What are the advantages of the cDNA? So the conversion of messenger RNA sequences to double-stranded cDNA offers several advantages, which includes: first, messenger RNA is naturally liable single-stranded molecule, and its conversion into more stable double-stranded cDNA facilitates long-term storage of these sequences. Second is cDNA is representative of messenger RNA population, that is expressed gene of the cell. Thus, the synthesis of cDNA is a creation of a permanent biochemical record of the cell at the time of lysis. Third one is the biosynthesizing and cloning the resulting cDNA from a single source. A method of propagating the cDNA is created. This approach is greatly facilitated by the huge variety of the vector compatible with an equally impressive variety of the host. Fourth is cDNA molecules, both long and short, can be used to screen, hybridize to members of much more complex genomic DNA libraries. We can understand the general scheme of double standard cDNA synthesis by these steps. First one is the first cDNA strand synthesis. Second one is the degradation of the messenger RNA, and third step can be synthesis of cDNA strand. We can understand this all steps by diagrammatic representation. So here you can simply see this is how cDNA synthesize. This is messenger RNA which is having poly A tail region. First of all, poly T regions will start to synthesize. So first strand synthesis occurs with the oligo DT plus reverse transcriptase enzyme. It will create the poly T region at the 5' end of new emerging cDNA. Further, it will create the first strand of DNA, then RNase H will come, it will degrade the messenger RNA. Now, second strand synthesis starts by the DNA polymerase enzyme. It will create the small fragments, small strands, and now second strand synthesis finally completed and by the DNA polymerase enzyme. At the end, tailing terminal transferase will be completed with the help of DCTP enzymes. So that's how double-stranded cDNA synthesized. First, cDNA strand synthesis basically use the messenger RNA template, and it is a reaction which catalyzed by the reverse transcriptase enzyme. Messenger RNA may be subjected to size fractionation before first cDNA strand synthesis. Reverse transcriptase requires primer to extend on, and the reaction leads to the formation of a hybrid between single-stranded cDNA and messenger RNA. For example, single-stranded cDNA ratio messenger RNA hybrid. You can understand it again by the diagrammatic representation, which here I am showing. This is the traditional cDNA synthesis where you can simply see this is the messenger RNA having 5' and capping structure and poly A tail region. First of all, oligo TT primer will come and it will create the 5' end of the new strand of cDNA. Further, reverse transcriptase process will be occur by using D NTPs यानी कि DATP, DTTP, DGTP, DCTP with the Mg plus 2 ions, and it will start to synthesize the first cDNA strand. So this is the first cDNA strand along with the messenger RNA, and it can create the cDNA messenger RNA hybrid. So this is the traditional cDNA synthesis, and especially first strand of the cDNA synthesis by using oligo DT primer and reverse transcriptase enzyme. Second step is degradation of the messenger RNA. So messenger RNA template in single stranded cDNA and messenger RNA hybrid is degraded by the alkali treatment or by RNase H catalyzed nicking. This steps provides primer for second cDNA strand synthesis, not in case of self-priming of the second strand cDNA and random primers catalyzed second strand synthesis. Next step is second cDNA strand synthesis. So second cDNA strand synthesis using the first strand as template is a reaction catalyzed by a DNA dependent DNA polymerase such as E. coli DNA polymerase 1 or Cleanow enzyme. The reaction requires primers and end result of this step is the formation of the double stranded cDNA. You can understand it by a diagrammatic representation again. Here we can simply see this is messenger RNA. This is the first cDNA strand, and this is the hybrid of cDNA and messenger RNA. Further, RNA H will come. It will degrade the messenger RNA and will create the short stretches, which can be used as a primer for the synthesis of second strand of the cDNA. On the other hand, DATP, DTTP, DGTP, and DCTP will be used by the process, and they will start to synthesize the second strand of the cDNA. Basically, remnant of the messenger RNA serve as a primer for the synthesis of the second strand of the cDNA, and it will create the second strand of the cDNA. And bacteriophage T4 DNA ligase will be used to seal these small stretches of the second cDNA strand synthesis, and that's how double stranded cDNA synthesized. And basically this is the replacement synthesis of the double stranded cDNA, because here replacement of the messenger RNA has been occurred by the cDNA second strand. So that's why it is called replacement synthesis of double stranded cDNA. Next one is the size fractionation of the messenger RNA. So the simplest method to enrich preparations of the messenger RNA for the sequences of interest is to fractionate them according to the size. Size fractionation is used for enrichment of the messenger RNA that are much larger or smaller in size than the bulk messenger RNA of the cell. Different ways of the size fractionation include density gradient centrifugation and agarose gel electrophoresis. In density gradient centrifugation, different messenger RNAs present in a simple sample when applied to the top of the prepared density gradient and subjected to centrifugation are separated according to the size. Effect of the messenger RNA length on cDNA synthesis. The length of the specific messenger RNA, hence the cDNA that is to be cloned, and influences the choice of primer and vector. The majority of the messenger RNA species are between 1.5 to 2 kilobase pair in the length. For these standard messenger RNA, the primer of choice is oligo-DT, which is 12 to 18 nucleotides in length. The oligo-DT primers will annul to the poly-A tract, which is found at the third terminal of the most eukaryotic messenger RNA. Histone is a notable exception. There are, however, a number of messenger RNA which are extremely long, and it would be difficult to synthesize complete cDNA copies from these long messenger RNA in one piece. Primers used for first cDNA strand synthesis. The first step in the synthesis of double-stranded cDNA is the formation of a single-stranded cDNA messenger RNA hybrid, which results from the synthesis of first cDNA strand using messenger RNA as a template. First cDNA strand synthesis, either total RNA or poly A RNA, can be used depending on the purpose. If the cDNA is to serve as the template for PCR, total RNA is usually sufficient, while poly-A RNA is employed if the cDNA is to be used as a hybridization prop. For first cDNA strand synthesis, messenger RNA template and primers are added together. The preparation is heated to 70-degree temperature to melt the secondary structure of a RNA, and then cooled slowly to room temperature to allow primer hybridization. Oligo-DT primers. Oligo-DT primers that represents a chemically synthesized stretches of 16 to 20 adenosine residues are used when the messenger RNA species for which cDNA is required in polyadenylate at its 3' end. If the messenger RNA is not polyadenylate, oligo-DT primers cannot be used. The primer is added to the reaction mixture in large molar excess so that each molecule of messenger RNA binds several molecules of oligo-DT primers at its long poly A tail. The annulled primers supplies free 3OH group, which is extended by reverse transcriptase enzyme. Next kind of a primers which can be used for the cDNA synthesis, which are random primers. So random primers are the collection of chemically synthesized oligonucleotides of random sequences, usually hexamers, and these are produced by the oligomerization of equal quantities of mixed A, G, C and T residues so that all possible hexameric sequences are present. The hexamers bind throughout the length of the messenger RNA molecule wherever complementary, resulting in internal priming of first cDNA strands instead of priming from the third dash end of the template. Random primers random primers however create certain problems. For example, first, if one is interested in cDNA synthesis from poly A RNA, the product will be contaminated from cDNA synthesized from poly A RNA as well. Second, limitation is cDNA clone derived from the random primer of first strand cDNA tends to be smaller than clones derived from the oligo-DT primer. Third limitation is the efficiency of the priming varies from one messenger RNA to another. Depending on the size of messenger RNA, the complexity and composition of the random primers pools. Fourth limitation is the priming have to be removed between first and second strand synthesis steps. Otherwise, second strand synthesis will also initiate by random priming. So these are the limitations of using random primers, and this is the sum up of this session. And in this session there are some key points which is important in the context of competitive exam. First one is the how cDNA library is more important in comparison to genome library, and how cDNA library can be constructed, and what is the step of the first cDNA strand synthesis, which enzymes are used for the first DNA cDNA synthesis, and what is the role of RNase H in the cDNA synthesis. This is the second question. And what is the role of tailing and terminal transferase enzyme in the cDNA synthesis, and how degradation of the messenger RNA happens. So all these are the key points for this session, and this session is powered by digital version 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University Jaipur. If you have any query, then mention in the comment box. I will resolve it. Thank you.